Welcome to another educating episode of your program Agric Economy on ARCN Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. On this week's episode of the program, we'll be taking a look at the effect of agricultural output to the Nigerian economy. Yes, looks similar to what we did the last time, where we talked about the financing of agricultural input and its effect on the Nigerian economy. And of course, the person that will be dissecting that topic with us is our usual economist, who has always magnanimously come out to talk to us as regards all our topics we've been having on the program. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Mr. Gabriel, so we need you to tell us what are let's start with the effect now of the output of our agricultural produce to Nigerian's economy. You've always said it in different episodes that it is important.
Yes.
So this importance, we want to get it quantified. What is the effect it will have?
Agriculture is a major contributor to the GDP of Nigeria after oil, and agricultural outputs in Nigeria has not only ensured the survival and the sustainability of life, it has also increased the economy of the country in various spheres. When we talk about low productivity, we discover that low productivity can lead to hunger. It can also lead to war. It can lead to famine. And that is what every government tries as much as possible to prevent. Because when there is low productivity, there will be mass exodus of people or migration of people to areas where there is abundance, leaving the areas where there is scarcity. And that means that able-bodied people will eventually leave such a country and go to where they can have sustenance. Apart from that, when it persists, it can lead to armed struggle, and when that persists, it can also lead to total and outright war. And when there is outright war, it kills the economy completely. That is why no government wants low output or low productivity in agriculture. Be that as it may, when we look at the performance of agriculture in Nigeria and the output level, we can discover that Nigeria over the years have improved its output. The only difference is that the output level is not in consonance with the population of the country. We discovered that as the agricultural output is increasing, maybe in percentages of 10, the population is increasing in a percentage of 20. So that means that we have not been able to achieve food security or food saturation for our people. That is why government is or will continue to come up with innovative methods to ensure that we attain food security in the country. And this can only be done through consistent output from agricultural produce in various areas of the value chain, to ensure that not only does the people in the country enjoy the benefit, but it can also be exported to other countries as well. So it's very important that the output continues to increase vis-a-vis population growth.
Okay, so right now, as a nation, where do we stand in our output level?
Yes, the output level is not where it should be, despite the various interventions that the government has put in place. There is need for serious improvement, because we discovered that in as much as we have seen improvement in production of rice per hectare, we could do better than what we are doing presently. We have also seen in the improvement in post-production of rice, that is bagging, sorting and the rest. But we do not have enough companies that can take that up to ensure that it's enough to be able to beat down the price. In other food products as well, and packaging of those products, we have seen that we have not reached the level where we can say that we are saturated, to the extent that we have more than enough to use in Nigeria and also export to other countries. So we are not there yet. When we talk about agric inputs in Nigeria, we can rate it between 60 to 70%. which needs a lot of improvement. Because when we want to talk of subsistence, we want to talk of saturation, we'll be talking of 100% and more to be able to ensure that our people have more than enough. I've said it here on the program before, that what is expected of Nigeria is that when the people are well fed, that is when the remaining can be exported, and it can even be exported at a profitable rate. So we have not gotten there yet.
Okay, so what are the causes?
Now, part of the causes for this low output is financing, which is very, very important. The technical know-how, which is also important. The agri framework, which has been lacking for some time now. I'm very happy when I heard that this present government wants to reintroduce the marketing boards and agric inspections, which used to be some years ago, because these people are stabilizing agents to ensure that farmers are confident in continuous production for both the use of Nigerians and export. So we need technical know-how, we need the marketing boards, we need the inspection agents, we need the agric, there's another one, the agric inspectors. They move around to inspect the species, they inspect the area to give advice on one or two things that needs to be done. In the technicality of it, we need improvement. And if this new government brings the marketing board back, what the marketing boards essentially do is that they ensure that when farmers produce in excess, the board buys it over the farmer so that it will mitigate against loss. And when the farmers, for natural disaster or man-made disasters, happen to have less yield, they intervene to ensure that the farmer does not lose completely. So this had been obtainable 30 years ago, but now that we are bringing it back, it's going to give farmers confidence and ensure that they don't operate at a loss all year round. So that's the technical aspect. The government also has started improving in research methodology as regards agricultural produce, and that can also be improved upon so that we can have improved seedling, improved farming methods, improved preservation methods, and thereabout. And the final aspect of it is access to markets. Access to markets. Just like we said in our last episode, we see some government ensuring that their citizens have access to markets that they can be able to bring their produce. So the government needs to work hard in that area of access to market, because if I have produced maybe cashew, for example, and I've been able to supply Nigeria and I've prepared for export, and I've used my funds, for example, and I could not get it to the destination, or I get it to the destination and it is returned because it did not meet standards. So it could lead to losses and it could lead to discouragement of farmers in that area. So the government also needs to create access to these markets and help it to be seamless for those that are going to export agric produce to other climes. Very, very important.
Okay, so looking at there's nothing that doesn't have the positive, negative rather, that won't be having the positive side. You've mentioned, just as trying to explain what the effect negatively are. Are there other, effects positively that this would also give to the Nigerian farmers?
Yes, when this is properly implemented, it brings confidence to the Nigerian farmers. It makes farming a thriving business. It makes technology to increase in the farming sector, agric sector. Because if, for example, we have improved seedlings and we are producing this kind of products, and we see that we are producing them in excess or we are meeting needs, then other secondary value chain comes in to see how we can be packaged to improve on it for both local and foreign use. So it brings more expertise to farming when these processes are well implemented. Just like I also said earlier, it makes more people to be engaged in farming, whereby reducing unemployment. And it also standardizes the living of an average Nigerian. If you know that, for example, is operation everyone to, farming, Then we'll go to our backyards and ensure that we get the improved seedlings, we plant, we first feed ourselves before we get the rest to the market for others to buy. You understand? So it gives confidence that we can sustain ourselves if these processes are properly implemented.
Okay, we've seen the federal government. You know, when you if you're a federal government worker, the only thing you are allowed to do is, of course, farming.
Yeah.
And then you see that some people use this as excuses. I know that we've had some bosses complain as regards that effect. If we are able to if everybody in court now
Yes.
moves to the farm, have a small space, even if you don't have a space in your backyard, you know, with technology now you can even farm even inside your kitchen.
Yeah.
Would that not be would it not reduce the financial aspect of farming? In the sense that so many people will not have to be in the market 247 having to get these items.
One thing is very, very clear. The population of the country is growing daily, and farming practice is not meeting up to that population growth. So the number of households that will have access to farming in Nigeria in the next 10 years will not even be up to 50% of the household if we are very serious. So there will still be a lot that have needs for the market. The second aspect of it is that you talked about federal government workers being allowed only for farming. What is the percentage of government workers as regards the population of the country? So you discover that they are still negligible when we talk about the population of the country. The third aspect I want you to also look at that will make sure that it will not be possible that even when these farming processes are implemented for it not to be so, is that a good portion of Nigerians that are working in areas where there might be no time for them to be able to go into farming. So they will always need this farm inputs or farm produce, and there will always be a market for agriculture in Nigeria, no matter the number of people that go into subsistence farming and commercial.
Okay, I just wanted to chip in. Even if you farm, you can't farm all produce all at
Definitely.
the same time. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the topic. Stay tuned. Economy on ARSN Television, Abuja, Nigeria, and we'll be talking to our guest in the studio, the person of Mr. Gabriel Dakola. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Our topic is still the impact of, say, effect of agricultural output to the Nigerian economy. Of course, we'll say the economy, we mean the monetary, and of course, how it has affected in alleviating poverty and, of course, eradicating hunger in Nigeria. And we've heard from him. He has highlighted so many factors that has been the negative effect, and he has talked about the positive also aspect of it. And now we're looking at the Nigerian economy in itself.
Yeah.
If we have say I know before now you see the MBS will tell you that Agric has done this, contributed so percent to the economy and the rest of it. As it stands now, where do we stand as a nation as regards economical growth when it comes to agriculture?
Yes, agriculture has just like the statistics of the National Bureau of Statistics has shown, has consistently contributed to the GDP of Nigeria, and it will still continue to contribute to it. So far so good. Just like I said earlier, agriculture is taking like the second position after oil and gas revenue as regards GDP for the country, and it has the capacity to do more, much more, if we put more attention into agriculture. And that is why even this present government is declaring an emergency on food security, because if we tackle all the challenges that affect agriculture, then we'll be able to have more performance, positive performance from agriculture to improve our economy. If you look at the agricultural value chain, there is still so many opportunities that are untapped presently that the people can use the opportunity to do. One thing that agriculture thrives on is population, and Nigeria has the population. We have the men, we have the technology, and we have the wherewithal to be able to improve and grow our agriculture to the extent that it will be contributing close to 50% of our GDP if the country is serious.
Okay, like you said, Nigeria has we have the population. I remember back then in the olden days, I'll tell you that a farmer, you see a farmer with like 15 wives and
so many children.
and over 100 children for just for the sole aim of ensuring that there are people on the ground to run into the farm at any time when it's the farming season of any goods. Okay, yes. So to say, what's your advice to government? What's your advice to government as regards this effect? You've outlined so many effects, and we've seen in practical cases. Yes, these things are on the ground. What's the possible?
Yes, the federal government of Nigeria before now have brought in some policies, and some have worked and some have not worked. My advice to government is first to review its existing policies on agriculture with a view of looking at the loopholes and the lacunas that have existed, and ensure that they are blocked and they are improved upon. In the area of agric financing, the government should look at it critically and look at the stakeholders involved and ensure that there is transparency in agric financing, because it is when there is lack of transparency that funds that is meant for agriculture goes to other hands and we do not see any result. The other aspect that the government should look into is a deliberate decision on the part of the government to ensure that agric succeed. And the only way that we can do that is to put round peg in round holes. That is, put people that have the passion and the knowledge of agriculture in as key policy makers. That is when they will be able to adequately drive the policies and ensure that it is implemented to the grassroots. If we, for example, bring ministers and people in key agricultural areas and just put them because we want to, for political patronage, at the end of the day, we remain the same way that we are. I remember the man that is now the president of African ADB, African Development Bank, Mr. Kinwumi. He was former minister of Agric in Nigeria during the Jonathan regime, and you discover that he came out with innovative policies. And within the space of the years that he was there, we discovered that we saw noticeable changes. That is bringing technocrats, people that know what it entails in agriculture. So this government, I want to advise that they should bring technocrats, people that know what it entails to practice agriculture in the 21st century. People that can easily sit down with foreign and local stakeholders and propagate agricultural policies that will also be implemented to the benefit of the country. We have discovered that every now and then agricultural organizations, both NGOs and both in Africa and all over, try to intervene in agriculture in Nigeria. But we discovered that even with their intervention, we are not seeing the commensurate result. It is because the implementation is always faulty at the end of the day. It is this area of implementation that the government should critically look at and also put needs assessment in place. Government needs to put needs assessment in place, whether quarterly review, half-yearly review, and yearly review. That, okay, we have put this and so policies in place. How far have we gone this quarter? How far have we gone this half year? How far have we gone this year? It is based on these reviews that the government will now know whether they are doing well or not. So when you look at these areas, the technical aspect of it, the financing of agriculture, ensuring that technocrats are manning agricultural positions both in the ministry and the agencies, ensuring that when we are collaborating with both local and foreign partners, we ensure that whatever collaboration is properly implemented. Funds that are brought in for agricultural purposes are not diverted to other things. We have seen in time past where Ministry of Agriculture will be executing road projects. It is not their forte. It should be led for those. They should face what they are meant to face, and that is not to be executing road projects. Even if it is agric roads, rural roads, it should still be left for those that are in that area to do. They should face it and ensure that government programs are properly implemented to bring out the desired results.
All right, thank you very much for having me on the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, that's it. That's how we wrap it. He has called on relevant agencies, including the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in ensuring that the said goal, the main mission and vision of having the ministry is being attained, and then they should focus, yes, that's the word, focus on what they are meant to do. On that note, we say thank you for joining us on the program for this week. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. Join us again same time, same station next week. And don't forget to click on our social media handle. On YouTube is ARCN TV on YouTube, and then you now search for Agric Economy, and of course on the other program, Agric Today. Like, share, and comment. Drop a comment on what you feel about the different episodes we have on air. Thank you. Bye.